Hello everybody and welcome to the Love Pop-Up Pocket mini album tutorial. Now for this album I am using the February subscription kit from Miss Kate Cuttables called Valentine's Day. So all of the papers and stickers, die cuts, most of everything you see in this album is from that collection kit. So I will have that link below if you're interested in picking that up. Now the first part before we jump into the tutorial, I'm just going to kind of show you an overview of the finished album. So let's just sit back and watch this, and then we'll go through and pick up on the tutorial part. Okay, now we're going to move first to the scrapbook page portion of the mini album, and you'll see here that I've already prepped all of my pages. Now my book height, the actual chipboard part of the book, the outside covers, is 8.5 inches tall. So I've cut all of my papers 8 inches tall. And you'll see here I'm measuring this for you here. This one is 8 inches in width or length times width times height. I think we call it the width, and then 8 inches tall. Now you'll see where I scored it and where the paper actually folds over. You had that one edge there, a 1-inch edge at the left-hand side. That is where your hinge of paper is going to go. So I just made sure as I scored all of my paper that I left that little 1-inch edge. You see there the yellow part, that is 1 inches away from the edge of the green part. That will give me plenty of room to add my hinge paper as we start to put all the pages together. So really you can do this any way you want to do. I just use a staggered method with my flip over pages, and then I use some cut apart cards from some of the paper. And then we're also going to turn 2 of these pages into pocket pages. Okay, now we're going to make some hinges for our pages. So I've chosen just a solid sheet of green paper from the collection kit, and I've cut that to 8 inches wide, and now I'm cutting 6 1-inch strips from that. And just reserve the remaining of that paper. We're going to use it for the back part of the book, but then we'll move on and score these strips in half, and that will make our hinges. Okay, before getting started, I decided that I wanted to cut apart the journal cards just to make it easier to kind of flip. I thought it would be a little bit more fun and interactive to cut those apart. So I did that, and now I'm going to attach them both to my little hinged paper here. So I'm attaching the one at the bottom. Now you can use your paper tape, your adhesive, but I kind of went back and forth. There were sections of this that were a little bit wider, so I used tape for those and then glue for the other. And you'll notice I'm just taking my scissors and snipping just up to the fold line, now that little card freely folds back and forth, and then I'm going to repeat for the other one. So there is the first part of our book, and now we're just going to attach the other part of our hinge to the following page. Now, as we're working on hinging all of these pages together, I just wanted to mention the cover of the book as it's not included in the tutorial of this video. I will link another tutorial below in the description if you do want to take a look at how I do my covers of the book. But for this one, I did take a piece of heavyweight chipboard and cut it in half so that my two pieces measured 5.5 by 8.5 inches. Those are the two covers. And the spine is 1.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And then you'll just cover it with your favorite pattern paper from the collection, and then that will be your cover. So you'll see here that we have all of our pages hinged together, and now how to attach that. I have used that extra piece of green paper, and I'm just going to trim that down to 5.5 inches, and of course it is 8 inches, so 8 inches by 5.5 inches. And then next I'm just going to score my little hinge that's going to attach to the back sheet of the book or of the paper. So I'm scoring there at 1/2 inch. I'm going to fold that over, and then that will attach to the last page of our scrapbook portion of the book. Okay, now let's get ready to attach our finished stack to the inside back cover of our book. For this, I've chosen to use a good sturdy paper tape for this, so I'm just going all around the perimeter and then attaching a few strips to the inside, and then I will just attach that to the center of the back of the book. And then from there, we'll start embellishing and start getting ready to make our pocket. Before we start construction on our big pop-up pocket, we need to first make those two smaller pockets for the scrapbook pages. Now to do that, I've just chosen a sheet of 6x6 paper. This is also from the same collection kit. And I'm going to cut that on the diagonal to make two triangle shapes. Now I'm just placing those triangles onto my scoreboard, and I'm scoring in 1/2 of an inch from the two edges and leaving that other top edge unscored. And I will just fold those down, miter my corners, and then just get ready to attach that to my page. Alrighty, now let's move on to our pop-up or collapsible pocket. Here are those dimensions if you want to take a quick screenshot of that. I did get this pocket tutorial idea from Victoria's Designs here on YouTube. I will link her tutorial below if you want to take a look at her project as well. So I'm first scoring my paper from each end at 2.5 inches. And this sheet of paper is 10 1/4 by 8. Okay, I'm just going to set that to the side. And now you see that we have our sides. And I have 2 pieces of that paper there. I'm just scoring here on the edges, 3 edges. We're going to score 1/2 of an inch in on 3 sides on our 2 different panels. Now moving it to the center of my scoreboard here, we're going to find the center of this paper. So I've grabbed my handy little ruler here that has the center point. So I'm going to find the center and mark that. Now I'm placing that little mark back at the 6-inch marking of my scoreboard. And I'm going to rotate it, keeping my finger there and keeping that center line lined up with that 6. And then I'm coming back down so that the tip of my edge lines up with 6 as well. Now you don't want to score exactly right there on that mark at the center. You want to score just to the side of that. Okay, now I'm going to rotate the other way and repeat. I'm lining up with the 6, but I'm going to score just on the other side of that center mark. That's very important because when you fold these over, you do not want the center, those folds in the center to meet. You do want a little bit of a gap there. So you'll see what that looks like, and we're going to fold down. Make sure that when you fold your sides down that they do meet edge to edge. That is very important. So if they don't, just make a little bit of an adjustment like I'm doing here, and then just smooth that out with your bone folder. And repeat with the other side, and then we'll just follow along. But that is the most important part of your pocket, is just making sure that you leave your gap in the center, and then that your edges meet there along the bottom. Okay, next I'm just going to take my small scissors and miter those corners at the bottom. You'll see how I just placed my scissors there along the bottom tab to the intersection, and then kind of turn and then finish cutting that apart. So you'll do that on both pieces of the sides. And now I'm just folding over the side flaps of the actual box. And then we'll use our glue and attach our little side pieces And then our box is almost complete. Okay, now all of our tabs are glued into place. I've allowed for it to dry, and I'm just going to fold in the sides like a gift box. And there you have your completed collapsible pop-up pocket. Now I just glued that to the inside cover of my album with some glue, but you could use a strong adhesive tape as well. You will also want to make a flap closure just like that to go over that left side of the pocket is where I attached that. Just cut you a piece of paper from some Nina cardstock if that's what you want to use. And I've also used these Tombow Velcro fasteners for the closure part. I did end up using 2 of those, but that's a great way to keep your pocket closed. And then what do you actually put into your pocket? All kinds of tags and leftover cut apart cards. So here I have some little mini tags that I had in my stash, and I just used my leftover paper and embellished those. So I just thought it would be fun to show you what all I threw in here and how I embellished everything. So we'll take a quick look at that. The embellishments are done. We're just going to fill up our pocket. Plenty of room left over, even with all of the bows and bells and baubles and different things on the tags. We're just going to close that up and secure it. And that's it, y'all. That's all for this tutorial. I hope that you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed putting it together. It's probably one of my very favorite books so far. I would love it if you would leave me a comment, if you would like and share it with your crafty friends, and I will see y'all again very soon. Thank you and take care.